Captain Zix stared at the small object drifting among the debris field. His six-fingered hand adjusted the viewing screen for a closer look. "What is that, Captain?" asked Mevalon, his first officer. Her scales shimmered blue under the ship's lights. "Some kind of escape pod." "Not a design I recognize," Zix replied. He guided their merchant vessel, the distant whisper, closer to the mysterious object. "Scan for life signs." Mevalon worked the controls. One life form. Faint biosignals. Unknown species. Zix scratched his ridged chin. They were in neutral space, far from regular trade routes. His people, the Tavari, were traders, not explorers. But he couldn't ignore someone in danger. "Bring it into the cargo bay," he ordered. Mevalon's scales darkened with worry. "Captain, regulations say we should call Union authorities for unknown species. The nearest Union outpost is days away. Whoever is in there might not survive that long," Zix said. "Prepare medical support." The small pod was pulled into the cargo bay with the ship's tractor beam. Up close, it looked damaged. Plasma burns marked one side. Zix and the ship doctor, Dr. Pell, approached carefully. "The pod's systems are nearly dead," Dr. Pell noted, scanning with his medical device. "The occupant is in some kind of low-energy state, probably emergency life support." Zix found the external release and the pod hissed open. Inside was a creature he had never seen before. It had 2 arms and 2 legs, a head with hair on top, and soft-looking skin without scales or fur. The being wore a fitted uniform with unknown symbols. "Is it alive?" Zix asked. Dr. Pell nodded. "Yes, but barely. Suffering from oxygen loss and several injuries." Zix made a quick decision. "Take it to the medical bay. Do whatever you can." 4 hours later, Zix stood beside the medical bed, watching Dr. Pell work. The strange being was breathing better now, connected to their life support systems. "Remarkable biology," Dr. Pell said. "Similar to several known species, but distinct. The data pad we found suggests this is a human from a planet called Earth." Zix's antenna twitched in surprise. "Human. I've heard traders speak of them. They're supposed to be a myth." "Well, this myth is very real and needs medical care beyond what I can provide," Dr. Pell replied. "We should take her to Vega 7. The Union outpost there has better facilities." "Her?" Zix asked. "Yes, according to these readings, this human is female." The human stirred slightly, her eyes fluttering open for a moment. They were blue, like the deep waters of Zix's home world. She tried to speak, but could only manage a weak cough before falling unconscious again. "Set course for Vega 7, Zix ordered. "Maximum safe speed." 3 days later, the distant whisper arrived at the busy space station orbiting the gas giant Vega 7. It was a central hub for dozens of species within the Galactic Union. Governor Peltorth, the station administrator, met them at the docking bay with a medical team. His long face grew pale when he saw the unconscious human on the stretcher. "What is this?" he demanded, his voice hushed. "A human," Zix explained. "We found her escape pod drifting in the Kepler sector. She needs medical attention." Governor Peltorth stepped back, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in alarm. "A human? Here." He looked at Zix with something like pity. "You rescued a human. Gods help you. You have no idea what you've done." "What do you mean?" Zix asked. "She was dying. We couldn't leave her." "Humans are classified as a restricted contact species," the governor whispered, looking around nervously. "There are protocols." "Why?" "She doesn't look dangerous," Zix said, watching as the medical team moved the human to their transport. Governor Peltorth shook his head slowly. "It's not this one you need to worry about. It's the others who will come looking for her." He gestured for Zix to follow. "Come to my office. There's much you need to know. And may the gods have mercy on us all when Earth discovers one of their own is here." Governor Peltorth closed the door to his office and dimmed the lights. Zix sat across from him, confused by the sudden secrecy. "Humans are trouble," the governor said quietly. "The Galactic Union classified Earth as a restricted contact zone 50 cycles ago." "Why?" Zix asked. "They look harmless enough." The governor pulled up a file on his screen. Early scout reports suggested they were primitive, violent, and unpredictable. Some called them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. "That seems hard to believe," Zix said, thinking of the injured female in the medical bay. "Most thought so too, until the Draxi incident," Governor Peltorth replied. "A Draxi research vessel abducted some humans for study. 3 weeks later, every Draxi outpost near Earth disappeared. No survivors." Zix's antenna drooped. "You think they'd attack us over one human?" "I know they would," the governor said firmly. "Humans protect their own with remarkable ferocity. They call it leaving no one behind. It's their most sacred belief." A soft chime interrupted them. The medical center was calling. "The human is awake," a doctor reported. "She's asking questions." Zix and the governor hurried to the medical center. Inside a secure room, the human woman sat upright on a bed. She looked better than before, though still weak. Her skin had more color, and her blue eyes were alert and watchful. "Hello," Zix said carefully. "My name is Captain Zix Crit. We found your escape pod." The woman studied him before answering. "Lieutenant Olivia Reed, U.S. Horizon. Thank you for saving my life." Her voice was steady despite her condition. Governor Peltorth stepped forward cautiously. "Lieutenant Reed, I'm Governor Peltorth of Vega 7 Station. Can you tell us what happened to your ship?" Olivia nodded. "We were on a scientific mission, studying unusual stellar formations. Our ship was attacked without warning. I don't know who they were. Black ships with red markings. They jammed our communications. The captain ordered evacuation." "The U.S. Horizon," Governor Peltorth repeated. "Is that an Earth military vessel?" "Research vessel," Olivia corrected. "Though we have standard defenses, I need to contact Earth authorities immediately." The governor's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "I'm afraid that won't be possible yet. There are protocols for restricted species contact." Olivia's expression hardened. "Restricted species. Earth has had deep space capabilities for over a century. Yet you've never formally joined the Galactic Union," the governor pointed out. "We were never invited," Olivia replied coolly. Before the conversation could continue, a Union official entered the room. He was tall with gray skin and wore the formal robes of a council representative. "I am Councillor Vexnar," he announced. "By authority of the Galactic Union Security Council, I am taking custody of the human." Zix stepped forward. "She needs medical care." "Which she will receive," Vexnar said dismissively. "The human will be transferred to a secure facility for proper handling." "I'm not going anywhere," Olivia said firmly. "I'm an officer of the Terran Space Force. I demand communication with my government." Vexnar smiled without warmth. "You are in no position to make demands. Governor, prepare the transfer." Zix felt anger rising within him. "She is under my protection. My ship, my rescue, my responsibility. Taveri protection codes are clear. You would risk sanctions against your entire species for one human?" Vexnar asked in disbelief. Before Zix could answer, an aide rushed into the room, looking terrified. "Governor, our long-range sensors just detected a signal burst from the station. It's directed toward Earth's solar system." The governor turned pale. "How?" "Our communications to that sector are blocked." Olivia smiled slightly. "My emergency beacon. It's been transmitting since you brought me aboard." Governor Peltorth sank into a chair. "Then it's already too late. They know she's here." "You don't understand what's coming," Olivia said quietly. "Earth doesn't abandon its people. Ever." Vexnar scoffed. "Earth is primitive. They have no means to reach this sector." Olivia just shook her head. "You'll see soon enough. They're already on their way." 2 days passed. Olivia grew stronger in the medical center. Though Union guards now stood outside her door, Captain Zix visited her daily, bringing food and news from the station. "They won't let me contact Earth," Olivia said, pacing her small room. "I need access to a communications array." Zix shook his head. "Counselor Vexnar has blocked all requests. He's called for a transport ship to take you to Union headquarters." Olivia stopped pacing. "That can't happen. If I disappear, Earth will respond with full force." "Would they really go to war over one person?" Zix asked. Without hesitation, Olivia replied. "It's a core principle. We've fought entire wars just to rescue prisoners." Zix's antenna twitched with curiosity. "Tell me about Earth." "The Union records are limited." Olivia smiled. "Earth is beautiful. Blue oceans, green forests, white mountains. We have millions of species living together. Humans are just one of them." Her smile faded. "We're protective of our home and our people. We've had to be." "And your technology?" "Space travel. More advanced than the Union believes," Olivia said carefully. "We've been watching the stars for centuries. We know more than we let on." Their conversation was interrupted when Mevlon, Zix's first officer, slipped into the room. "Captain, you need to hear this," she whispered, looking nervously at the door. "I've been talking to traders from the outer systems. They say several powerful Union species have been exploiting uncontacted worlds in human-adjacent space." "That would violate Union law," Zix said. "That's why they pushed for human space to be restricted," Mevlon explained, "to keep their activities secret." Olivia wasn't surprised. "We've suspected as much. We've detected ships with Union signatures in our territory, but they always vanish before we can make contact." "There's more," Mevlon continued. "Rumors say humans are far more advanced than officially acknowledged. Some traders claim to have seen human ships appearing and disappearing near Union outposts. They call them ghost ships." Olivia said nothing, but Zix noticed her slight smile. "A Union enforcer ship just entered the system," Mevlon added. "They're coming for the human." Zix made a quick decision. "Mevlon, prepare the distant whisper for immediate departure. We're leaving before that ship arrives." "You can't fight the Union," Olivia warned. "I'm not planning to," Zix replied. "But I won't hand you over either." Before they could discuss further, Governor Peltorth burst into the room, flanked by Counselor Vexnar and 4 armed guards. "Captain Zix Crit," the counselor announced formally. "You are ordered to cease all contact with the human. She will be transferred to Union custody immediately." Zix stood his ground. "On what charges? She's done nothing wrong." "This isn't about crimes," Vexnar snapped. "This is about galactic security. Humans are dangerous and unpredictable." "You're afraid of them," Zix realized. "What do you know that you're not telling us?" The counselor's face darkened. "Your interference is noted, Captain. The Taveri people will face severe sanctions for your actions today." "Are you threatening my entire species because I won't abandon an injured person?" Zix asked, his voice rising. "The needs of the Union outweigh your moral concerns," Vexnar replied coldly. Governor Peltorth stepped between them, looking worried. "Please, let's remain calm. Captain Zix, I understand your position, but the Council's authority is final." Just then, alarms began blaring throughout the station. A voice came over the emergency channel. "Unknown vessel approaching." It appeared out of nowhere. "All security personnel to alert stations." Vexnar's face drained of color. He turned to Olivia. "What have you done?" Olivia stood up straight, her eyes bright. "I told you they were coming." Outside the viewports, a sleek ship of unfamiliar design moved into position near the station. It was smaller than a Union cruiser but radiated power. Its hull was midnight black with a single line of glowing blue running its length. On its side, clear even from a distance, was an unfamiliar symbol and 3 words, "Terran Defense Force." "They're here," Olivia said quietly. "And they don't look happy." The station shook slightly as the human ship docked. Vexnar ordered his guards to surround Olivia. The governor looked like he might be sick. "We should greet them properly," Olivia suggested calmly. "They won't appreciate seeing me surrounded by armed guards." "Silence," Vexnar hissed. He turned to the governor. "Delay them at the airlock. I'm taking the human to a secure location." Zix stepped forward. "Counselor, think about what you're doing. You could start a war." "The Union does not bow to threats from primitive species," Vexnar replied. The station's communication system crackled to life. A calm human voice spoke, translated perfectly into standard Union language. "This is Commander Ryan Carter of the Terran Defense Force vessel Swift Justice. We have come for Lieutenant Olivia Reed. We expect her to be released immediately and unharmed." Vexnar grabbed a communicator. "This is Counselor Vexnar of the Galactic Union Security Council. You have violated restricted space. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." There was a brief pause before the human replied. "That won't be happening, Counselor. We'll be docking in 30 seconds. True to their word, the station's systems reported a successful docking procedure moments later. Governor Peltorth hurried to the main airlock, Zix close behind. Vexnar stayed with Olivia, his guards forming a tight circle around her. The airlock hissed open. 3 humans stepped out, wearing fitted black uniforms with blue trim. They had no visible weapons. The one in front was tall with short brown hair and a serious face. Behind him stood a woman with dark skin and sharp eyes, and a broad-shouldered man whose calm expression somehow seemed more dangerous than a scowl. "Commander Ryan Carter," the lead human said, offering a hand in what Zix recognized as a human greeting gesture. "This is Lieutenant Kelly Martinez and Special Operative Frank Dawson." The governor didn't take the offered hand. "How did you find this station? How did you get here so quickly?" Ryan smiled slightly. "We have our ways. Now, where is Lieutenant Reed?" "The human female is under Union protection," Governor Peltorth said nervously. "There are procedures that must be followed." "She's not under protection. She's under guard," Ryan corrected. "Take us to her, please." Zix stepped forward. "I'm Captain Zix Grit. I found Lieutenant Reed's escape pod. She's in the medical center, but Counselor Vexnar is planning to move her." Ryan nodded. "Thank you, Captain. We owe you a debt for saving our officer." Together, they walked quickly through the station corridors. Other species pressed against the walls, staring at the humans with a mixture of fear and curiosity. When they reached the medical center, they found Vexnar and his guards waiting. Olivia still surrounded. "Lieutenant Reed," Ryan called. "Are you injured?" "Nothing serious, Commander," Olivia answered. "Good to see you." Ryan turned to Vexnar. "Release her. Now." "You have no authority here," Vexnar said. "This station is under Union jurisdiction. Your presence is illegal." "We're here for our citizen," Ryan replied. "Nothing more." "You're violating at least 6 Union regulations," Vexnar insisted. "Your ship will be impounded, and you will be detained." Ryan sighed. "Lieutenant Martinez, please show the counselor why that's not a good idea." Martinez touched a device on her wrist. The room's main view screen flickered to life, showing a view of space outside the station. "Sir," she said quietly, "you might want to check your long-range sensors." On the screen, multiple points of light appeared at the edge of the system. As they watched, the lights grew larger, taking shape as ships. Not small ships like the Swift Justice, but massive vessels with sleek lines and powerful weapons arrays. "That's impossible," Vexnar whispered. "No fleet could reach this system without using the jump gates. We would have detected them." "The Terran Defense Fleet doesn't need your jump gates," Ryan said. "Now are you going to release Lieutenant Reed, or shall I invite Admiral Campbell to join our conversation?" Zix stared at the screen in wonder. The human ships were unlike anything he had seen before. They had appeared from nowhere, bypassing all Union detection systems. "Captain," Olivia said with a smile, "I believe my ride is here." The station's command center was filled with frantic activity. Union officials stared at screens showing the human fleet. Governor Peltorth had ordered all civilian ships to dock or leave the system immediately. 12 vessels, a sensor operator reported. Configuration unknown. Power signatures unlike anything in our database. Counselor Vexnar paced nervously. The humans, Commander Ryan and his team, stood calmly with Olivia beside them. Zix watched from nearby, fascinated by how quickly the situation had changed. "Open a channel to the fleet," Governor Peltorth ordered. The main screen lit up, showing a stern-faced human woman with short gray hair and intense eyes. She wore a dark uniform with gold markings on the shoulders. "This is Admiral Lisa Campbell of the Terran Defense Fleet," she announced. "We have come for our citizen. Any attempt to prevent her safe return will be considered an act of war against Earth." Vexnar stepped forward. "Admiral, your actions violate Union space and regulations. You must withdraw immediately." Admiral Campbell's expression hardened. "Let me be clear, Counselor. Earth does not recognize your authority over human citizens. We are not members of your Union. We are not bound by your regulations." "How did you find this station?" the governor asked. "How did your ships arrive without using the jump gates?" "That's classified," Admiral Campbell replied. "But I will say this. Humans have been watching the stars far longer than you realize. We've observed your conflicts, your politics, your technology. We chose isolation until we were ready." A new alert sounded on the station's systems. 3 more ships approaching. The sensor operator called out, "Union military vessels." On a secondary screen, 3 warships from the Union fleet appeared. They were larger than the station itself, bristling with weapons. "The Security Council has dispatched reinforcements," Vexnar said with renewed confidence. "Your fleet is outnumbered, Admiral." Admiral Campbell actually smiled. "Is that what you think?" She turned to speak to someone off-screen, then faced them again. "I'm getting reports that several Union species have been abducting humans for decades. For study. Is this true?" The room fell silent. Zix looked at Vexnar, whose expression had changed to one of alarm. "Those are unverified reports," the counselor said carefully. "We have verified them," Admiral Campbell replied coldly. "We want those humans returned as well." "This is outrageous," Vexnar shouted. "You can't make such demands." Olivia stepped forward. "It's true, Commander. While I was in the medical center, I accessed their database. They have records of at least 30 human abductions by various Union species. They're classified as biological research subjects." Zix felt sick. He turned to Governor Peltorth. "Is this true? You've been kidnapping humans." The governor wouldn't meet his eyes. "Not me personally. But yes, some council members authorized limited specimen collection." "Specimen collection." Ryan's voice was dangerously quiet. "Those are our people." A new voice came from the doorway. "Indeed they are, and we have found them all." Everyone turned to see another human entering the command center. This one wore a formal dark suit instead of a uniform. Several aliens of different species followed behind him. Ambassador Daniel Walsh, the human, introduced himself. "Earth Diplomatic Corps. These are representatives from worlds that have chosen to ally with Earth." Vexnar looked at the aliens accompanying the ambassador with shock. "Lurtan. Helodians? You've allied with humans." A tall, elegant alien with silver skin nodded. "The Union has exploited our worlds for centuries. Earth offered partnership instead of subjugation." Ambassador Walsh stepped to the center of the room. "For decades, the Union has painted humans as dangerous primitives while secretly studying us and stealing our people. That ends today." On the screen, Admiral Campbell nodded. "Ambassador Walsh speaks with the full authority of Earth. We require the immediate release of all humans in Union custody, formal recognition of Earth's sovereignty, and reparations for those who have been harmed." "And if we refuse?" Vexnar challenged. The lights in the command center flickered briefly. Every screen switched to show the same image. The Terran fleet, now positioned around the 3 Union warships, which suddenly appeared tiny and vulnerable in comparison. "If you refuse," Admiral Campbell said quietly, "you'll find out exactly why humans are considered dangerous." Counselor Vexnar called an emergency meeting of available Union representatives on the station. They gathered in a large conference room, faces tense and voices hushed. Captain Zix stood near the back, unsure why he had been invited. "The humans have us surrounded," Vexnar said, "but we cannot show weakness. I propose we respond with full military force." "Are you insane?" Governor Peltorth asked. "Did you see their ships? Their technology is beyond ours." "They're bluffing," Vexnar insisted. "No species could advance so quickly without the Union noticing." A Helodian representative laughed bitterly. "The Union notices only what serves its interests. My people reported human advancement 20 cycles ago. The Council dismissed our warnings." Zix listened as the debate grew heated. The Union representatives seemed split between those who wanted to fight and those who preferred negotiation. Neither side seemed to understand the full situation. "Captain Zix crit," a voice called. He turned to see Commander Ryan standing in the doorway. "May I speak with you privately?" Zix followed Ryan to a small side room. Inside, Admiral Campbell's image appeared on a screen. "Captain," she said with a nod, "I wanted to thank you personally for saving Lieutenant Reed." "I did what anyone would do," Zix replied. "Not anyone," Ryan said. "Most species would have left her to die, or handed her over to Union authorities immediately. You showed courage and compassion." Admiral Campbell leaned forward. "Captain, our intelligence suggests your homeworld, Tavar, has been secretly exploited by certain Union species for rare minerals. Were you aware of this?" Zix's antenna drooped in shock. "No, that's impossible. Tavard is a protected member world." Ryan touched a device on his wrist. A hologram appeared showing mining operations on a familiar-looking planet. Zix recognized the mountain ranges of his homeworld. "These operations have been disguised as scientific outposts," Ryan explained. "The minerals are smuggled out through unofficial channels. Your government was never informed." "Why are you telling me this?" Zix asked, his voice shaking. "Because Earth is offering an alliance," Admiral Campbell said. "Not just to you, but to all species who have suffered under Union corruption. We've been gathering evidence and allies for years." Ryan handed Zix a datapad. "This contains tactical information about Union fleet movements. We know they're assembling a larger force to attack us. They still underestimate human capabilities." Zix stared at the pad. "You're asking me to betray the Union." "We're asking you to choose," Ryan corrected. "The Union already betrayed your people." Before Zix could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. They rushed back to the command center to find chaos. The main screen showed dozens of Union warships appearing through the jump gates. "The Union Council has voted," Vexnar announced triumphantly. "Earth vessels are ordered to surrender immediately or be destroyed." Ambassador Walsh remained calm. "This is your final warning, Counselor. Earth does not want war, but we will defend our citizens and allies. Your primitive species cannot stand against the combined might of the Union." Vexnar sneered. Olivia stepped up beside Ambassador Walsh. "You still don't understand humans, do you? We spent centuries fighting each other before we united. We know war better than anyone." The Union fleet moved into attack formation. On other screens, Zix could see civilian vessels fleeing the system in panic. "You rescued a human," Governor Peltorth whispered to Zix. "And now the galaxy burns." Zix looked down at the datapad Ryan had given him. It contained information that could help the humans defeat the Union forces, but using it meant choosing a side in what was about to become an interstellar war. He thought of his homeworld, secretly mined and exploited while the Union pretended to protect it. He thought of Olivia, who would have died if he had followed Union protocols. He thought of the humans who crossed the stars to save one of their own. "Captain," Ryan said quietly, "we need to know where you stand." Zix straightened his back and made his decision. "With Earth," he said firmly. "I stand with Earth." As if in response, the human fleet began to move, their ships gliding into perfect formation to meet the Union forces. The war for the galaxy had begun. 3 days passed. The Union fleet had not attacked yet, but remained in position, growing larger as more ships arrived. The human fleet hadn't moved either. It was a tense standoff. Captain Zix had been working closely with the humans, sharing everything he knew about Union tactics and weaknesses. Many other aliens on the station had secretly joined their side. "The Galactic Union Council is arriving," Commander Ryan announced during their morning meeting. "They want to negotiate." "They're stalling," Olivia said, "giving time for more warships to arrive." Ambassador Walsh nodded. "Perhaps. But we'll hear them out. Captain Zix, we'd like you to join us." Hours later, Zix stood in the station's grand meeting hall. Union Council members sat on one side of a large table, humans and their allies on the other. Zix felt out of place among such important figures, but Olivia gave him an encouraging smile. An elderly alien with translucent skin and 6 eyes spoke first. "I am High Counselor Teth Moore. This conflict is unnecessary. We can resolve our differences peacefully." "We agree," Ambassador Walsh replied. "Release all human captives, recognize Earth's sovereignty, and acknowledge the rights of all exploited species. Then we can talk peace." Counselor Vexnar slammed his fist on the table. "You make demands as if you had already won." "We don't want to win a war," Ambassador Walsh said calmly. "We want to prevent one." High Counselor Teth Moore raised a hand for silence. "Ambassador, your demands are unprecedented. How can you prove these alleged abductions? Where is your evidence of exploitation?" Zix stepped forward, surprising himself with his courage. "I have seen the evidence. My own world, Tevar, has been secretly mined for rare minerals without our knowledge." "The Tevari have no standing here," Vexnar said dismissively. Walsh smiled. "Actually, Captain Zix now has very significant standing." He stood and addressed the room. "Earth is formally declaring protection over Captain Zix and the Tevari people. Any action against them is an action against Earth." The Union Council members looked shocked. Zix felt a strange mix of pride and fear. "You cannot simply declare protection over another species," Teth Moore protested. "Why not? You've been declaring restrictions over species for centuries," Ambassador Walsh replied. He nodded to Olivia, who activated a large screen. Images filled the screen. Secret mining operations, research labs with captive beings, weapons tests on inhabited planets. Each image was time-stamped and verified. "Earth has been gathering intelligence for decades," Walsh explained. "We have operatives throughout Union space. We know about the corruption, the exploitation, the lies." "Impossible," whispered Teth Moore. "How could you infiltrate the Union so thoroughly?" "You believe your own propaganda," Olivia said. "You convinced yourselves we were primitive, so you never looked for us among you." Suddenly, several aliens at the table stood up. They removed devices from their necks, and their appearances changed. They were human operatives in disguise. "We have been everywhere," Ryan said. "Learning, watching, preparing." More aliens began standing throughout the hall, representatives from various exploited worlds who had secretly allied with Earth. "The Union as you know it is over," Ambassador Walsh announced. "Too many species have suffered under your rule. We propose a new galactic congress based on principles of equality and fair representation." Vexnar laughed bitterly. "And if we refuse, will you destroy us with your superior weapons?" "No," Walsh replied. "We're not like you. We don't want to rule or destroy. We want justice." Admiral Campbell's voice came over the communication system. "Union Council members, please observe your tactical displays." On every screen, data showed Union defense systems across dozens of worlds suddenly shutting down. Communication networks flickered. Jump gates closed. "We could have attacked," the Admiral explained. Instead, we simply suspended your military capabilities. Temporarily. High Counselor Teth Moore's hands trembled. How is this possible? Zix understood now why humans had been feared. Not because they were violent, but because they were patient. They had waited, learned, and when they finally revealed themselves, they had already won. The choice is yours, Ambassador Walsh said to the stunned council. War, which you will lose, or peace, where everyone wins. 1 month later, Captain Zix Crit stood on the observation deck of the newly established Galactic Congress headquarters. The space station orbited a neutral star at the crossroads of multiple sectors. Below him, representatives from hundreds of worlds filed into the main assembly chamber for the first official session. It's quite a view, isn't it? Olivia said, joining him at the window. She wore a formal blue uniform now, with silver markings that identified her as Earth's assistant ambassador. I never imagined I would see something like this, Zix admitted. The old Union is really gone. Not everything had gone smoothly after the confrontation at Vega 7. Some Union hardliners had attempted a surprise attack against the human fleet. Their ships had been disabled without a single casualty, their weapons systems simply shutting down mid-attack. After that display of power, resistance had crumbled quickly. Not gone, Olivia corrected. Transformed. Many former Union worlds are now Congress members. Zix's antenna twitched with amusement. And the corrupt leaders. Facing justice from their own people, Olivia replied. Earth didn't need to punish them. Once the evidence of their actions became public, their own citizens demanded accountability. Ambassador Walsh approached them, holding a datapad. Captain Zix, I have good news. The first aid ships have reached Tovar. The environmental damage from the illegal mining is being repaired, and your government sends their thanks. Zix felt a wave of relief. After learning about the exploitation of his homeworld, he had worried about the long-term effects. It meant everything to know Earth was helping his people. The Congress session is about to begin, Walsh said. You should both join us. Captain Zix has a special place in today's proceedings. They entered the vast chamber where representatives from across the galaxy had gathered. The room hummed with dozens of languages, all being seamlessly translated. Zix noticed how different this felt from Union meetings, where only powerful species had been allowed to speak. Admiral Campbell stood at the central podium, her uniform crisp and her expression solemn. I call the first session of the Galactic Congress to order, she announced. Our first act is to recognize those who made this new beginning possible. She gestured toward Zix. Captain Zix Crit of Tovar, please step forward. Surprised, Zix walked to the podium. Hundreds of eyes turned to watch him. This humble trader captain, Admiral Campbell said to the assembly, did something extraordinary. When faced with an injured being from an unknown species, he chose compassion over fear, rescue over abandonment. That single decision revealed the corruption at the heart of the old system and began the change we see today. A tall, distinguished human in formal attire stepped forward. Zix recognized him as President Alan Shepard, Earth's leader. Captain Zix Crit, the president said, Earth officially recognizes you as the first friend of humanity in the greater galaxy. Your actions saved Lieutenant Reed, but they also created an opportunity for understanding between our peoples that might otherwise have taken centuries. The president placed a small medallion in Zix's hand. It showed 2 different hands clasped in friendship, with Earth in the background. I just did what seemed right, Zix said simply. And that, President Shepard replied, is why we are honored to know you. The assembly erupted in applause. Representatives from dozens of species rose to their feet in respect. Zix felt overwhelmed by the moment. Later, back on the observation deck, Zix and Olivia watched stars flickering in the distance. I still don't understand something, Zix said. I rescued one human, and humanity went to war for me and my entire species in return. Why? Olivia smiled. That's what humans do, Captain. We protect our friends. We never leave people behind, even aliens you barely know. Especially them, Olivia replied. Because that's how you build a better galaxy, one rescue at a time. Zix looked out at the stars, thinking about how much had changed because he chose to help an injured being in a damaged escape pod. One small decision that changed the course of the galaxy. You know what the strangest part is? He said quietly. What's that? I would do it all again in a heartbeat.